Hi guys, so well done for finishing the must part of this workshop. Now in this next bit I'm going to just quickly show you a couple of Excel functions with which we can further describe this data that we have here. Now for that I think we should quickly move this data over into a new tab. Now I've created a should tab on your worksheet as well, and if we just highlight and copy all of the data. Now, when we want to copy this data, let's take all of it, okay? So we will highlight these columns, including our frequency table. Okay, so we'll highlight them all. And then you can either right-click and copy, as I've seen most of you do, but you're actually much quicker if you use your keyboard by pressing and holding down the Control button, which is on the very bottom left of your keyboard, and then press C for copy. It automatically copies all of the data, okay, all of everything that you've highlighted. And then you go into this tab where you want to place the data, okay. You click on the top left cell, the first one, and then you again press Control, keep it pressed, and press V on your keyboard for Victor, and that will insert or paste the data. It's just much quicker than using right click, I find anyway. So in case you didn't know that yet, there's a little keyboard shortcut for you. You can also use Control and X, which cuts everything. So now if I place this somewhere else, it will actually be gone out of the previous place. So if I say cut from here and then paste, so Control V over here, it disappears from where it was before, whereas if you copy like I did previously, it doesn't disappear from where it was before. Okay, so that's just one of the little things that you can do with the control function. You can do quite a lot of things. Control A highlights everything, okay, so highlight all, and so on. So in this should part of the workshop, I will just quickly show you a couple of functions because you haven't actually created any Excel functions yet. Now, one of the things that we're going to use is the sum function. So we want to know, I'll just press escape to get out of what is highlighted here. We want to know how many people in total we actually asked these questions that we asked, okay? In order to do that, we need to create a formula. And now in Excel, when I write any functions, I usually place next to the function some sort of description of what I've done here. So for example, if I want to know the total number of respondents to question number 1, which is these ones, okay, then I'll just write in here total number of respondents for Q1, okay, and down here, for example, I could do the same and do total number of respondents for question 2, okay, and then over here I want to create, I'm actually going to move this one further over in order to give me a bit more space. And then in this cell here, I want to actually create that sum, okay? So I want to add up all of the numbers in here in order to find out how many people in total answered these questions. And in Excel, to introduce any sort of function, we press equals on our keyboard. Now that signifies to Excel that you will now insert a formula. And there are loads of different formulas, loads of different functions that Excel can do, one of the simplest ones being sum, which means add together all of these. Now, what we have to then do in Excel is also tell it which numbers do you want to add up. And we do that by highlighting the cells that have the numbers in them, okay? So in Excel, all the numbers are inside a cell, and we basically just tell Excel whatever is in that cell, added to this cell and this cell and this cell and so on. Now we have equals sum, and then we want to open brackets in order to signify we're going to highlight now the numbers that we want to include in this function. In this case, because we want the total number of respondents to question 1, we highlight all of these frequencies which represent people that have answered the questionnaire for question 1. So that's all of these cells here, okay? Now I'm highlighting by pressing on the first cell, keep the mouse pressed down, and then drag the cursor down to the last one in this range, okay? Stop here where this is the last option for question 1. Then I want to close the bracket and press enter. So now Excel has basically added up all of the respondents to these questions, okay, which adds up to 138. Now if I do the same for question 2, okay, so sum of all of these, close bracket, and there you go. Now you might notice that the total number of respondents is actually different for question 1 and question 2. That indicates to me that there is a mistake in here somewhere, so I must have miscounted one of these cells. And I've just had a quick look, and it's actually this one here. Okay, so if we look at how many people answered with agree, okay, which is 6 in these options here, let's just have a look how many people said that. It's actually 37 and not 16. Okay, now if I change that, Excel will automatically adjust the count down here. Okay, I don't know if you've seen that. I'm going to go back. Now we have 138. That was with the mistake before. And now I've changed it to the correct number, and it's 159. Now this is what we would expect, because obviously we asked the same people both questions. So there was 159 respondents in total. They all answered both questions. So the total number of respondents for both questions should be exactly the same, which it now is. And that was basically your first function in Excel. So now if you watch the next video, I'll just really briefly show you how to calculate one more function, and then you're done for the should section.